Do your players have more gold than they know what to do with and not really care about how much they have, nor do they care about any quests or rewards that promise more of it? Well, you're probably not using gold in the most efficient way to compete with how much they value magic items. So we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why players value magic items more than gold, and talk about some ways where you can make gold just as valuable as magic items, if not more so. Hi guys, my name is Tony Rodriguez, and today I'll be your EncounterSmith. Here, we like to come up with new ways to help you run your D&D games to make them more accessible and fun. Now, why do people think gold suck? Well, honestly, I blame Wizards modules on this. If you're anything like me, maybe your first campaign was ran out of a module, and you'll quickly learn that these modules give a ton of gold and magic items to your players, but with all the gold and valuables they give them, they give you almost 0 ways for them to spend it, making potential new DMs come up with those ways to establish an economy in a fantasy world for the first time. But now that I'm done with that tangent, why do specifically players value magic items more than gold? Now, there are 3 really big staples of value to talk about here. First is perceived value, then there's value to time, and value to effort. We'll talk about those, and then towards the end of the video, we'll reverse engineer them to make gold just as valuable, if not more. First big one we'll talk about is perceived value. Your players understand the value of magic items to the game system, while gold provides value to the world they're playing in. The thing is, your players automatically understand game value more than they understand world value. Because if your players have at least gotten through the character creation process, they understand how attacks, damage, spells, skill checks, abilities, how all of that works for the most part, and then just by reading the description of magic items, they understand that they just make those things they already understand better. While they may have not been in your world at all, or even if they have been, you haven't done your due diligence and established why gold is valuable in your world. For example, if I asked you to mow my lawn right now for $1,000 and it would take you less than half an hour, you would probably do it because you understand the value of $1,000 in this world. You can think of a lot of things you could use $1,000 for right now. But if I were to tell you to mow my lawn for 1,000 shruples, you'd have a lot more questions like, what is a shruple? How do I spend it? Is that a lot? Where can I even spend it? What can I even get with it? You'd be more reluctant to accept that task because you don't understand the value of a shruple. Just like if I were to offer players 1,000 gold to do a thing, they would know, can I buy a magic item with that? Can I buy potions with that? What services can I buy with that? And yes, the player's handbook has the pricing of weapons and healing potions and stuff like that, but honestly, that's not the stuff your players actually want. And if you're just giving your players gold to have them buy magic items, I'm sorry to say it, but you're using gold wrong. Magic items equals game system value, gold equals world value. Establish the value in your world for gold. So now we'll talk about the time to value, because for a magic item, barring an attunement process, which is pretty much instant for the player, even though it's like 30 minutes for your PC, you basically pick up magic item and you have benefit of magic item. So the time to value is almost instant. While when you receive gold by slaying a dragon and collecting its hoard, you have to collect all that gold, bring it to somewhere, and find a somewhere that has something worth spending your gold on. The time that can take from you ending that dungeon to a place to actually spend it is much longer than the time to pick up a magic item. And the third reason players like magic items to gold is effort to value. After I receive thing, what do I have to do? How much effort do I have to put into this thing to then get the value from it? Again, a magic item, maybe an attunement process, but other than that, you do not have to do anything to get the benefits of a magic item other than just kind of holding it. Gold, on the other hand, again, with the Dragon's Hoard scenario, you have to figure out how you're going to carry it. You have to bring it somewhere. You have to usually haggle with someone to get what you want. A lot more effort than just picking up a magic sword and having cool abilities and bonuses. Now, if you learned anything so far about value and how it works in our brains, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, as it really helps get this in front of other dungeon masters who might be struggling with rewarding their players. Thanks. Now let's come up with some ways to make gold better. First, we'll establish that perceived value. Again, your players don't know what they can do with gold. So the best way to counteract this is to show them all the cool things they can do with gold before they actually have enough to use it. because then it creates some craving and longing for some cool things. Now, what kind of things should you create to have your players buy with gold? Well, again, think about magic items and how they have a mechanical value to the game system. Things you buy with gold should be the same. That's why most players buy magic items and potions with their gold, because those are the things that establish mechanical value. So think of more creative ways to establish that mechanical value for gold. This doesn't always have to be stuff. It can be services. For example, you can have teleportation services to get one place to another without actually having to make that journey. You can have healing or enchanting services of different churches or places to establish some magical service that your players might not be able to do yet. You can even go as far as unlocking whole nother adventures. Like maybe there's this cave that's been completely caved in, but there are legends of a mysterious magical item at the bottom. And then you just have to maybe pay these group of dwarves to mine out and clear it out so you guys could go on another adventure. Not only are you potentially unlocking the ability to get another magic item, but you're unlocking the potential for a whole new way to play the game. Castles and houses, like that's a thing a lot of people like doing, and that's fine and players can really get into it, but make sure there's some mechanical value to it. Like if your players decide to buy a castle, allow them to gain temporary hit points if they spend a long rest there. And then maybe you can have them buy different wings of the castle, like the wizard can have a library. And then whenever he learns new spells in that library, it costs him half the gold to learn a new spell. Get creative with it, and your players will get excited for it as long as whatever it is helps them in combat or with skill checks in some mechanical game system way. The next thing we want to tackle is time to value. This is also another reason why we want to establish all the things they can do with gold before they have it. So the minute they get the gold, they probably already have an idea of the kind of things they want to do with it. To make it a little bit easier, anyone who rewards golds for quests, make sure those quest rewarders are also near like market areas and places where those services are at. So the time that they turn in their quest, get the reward, and then just have to walk down the street to spend it. And the third way is effort to value. Again, establishing all of the value before they actually have enough gold to use it already establishes the effort of searching for it. Then if they have enough gold to do the thing, don't have every shopkeeper haggle and try to come down on prices. Your players are going to do that anyways, so save yourself the time and effort and let them do all the haggling because they'll try to. But if they are haggling, that means that's gold they want to keep, and if they want to keep that gold, that means they view it as valuable and you've done a good job establishing something. Those are some simple ways to make gold just as valuable as magic items, if not more so. So if you have really interesting ways to have your players spend gold, let us know in the comments below so everyone can kind of cultivate and get creative with those ideas and come up with new ways we can all share. Now, these rewards are usually only rewarding if your players had to work hard to get them. That means establishing really good encounters. So if you need ways to really punch up the intensity engagement of your encounters to make those rewards feel really earned, check out this video right here. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you all next time.